everyone! It's exam season right now, and for those of you who are still studying, I wish you the very best of luck. If you're like me, you maybe have an idea in your head of scenarios that you want to happen during the exam and things that you'd like to avoid. And for me, one of the things on my list of things to avoid was being ill during the exam. Unfortunately, that happened to me one year, and it was in my history exam, and it was a bit of a strange day that followed. So today I thought I'd share with you the story of the time I had to walk out during my history exam because I was ill. On the morning of my exam, I got up, got dressed, had some breakfast and went to school. It was just like any other day really. I did feel a little bit funny, but I thought it was maybe because I was nervous. And certainly, if it was because I was ill, I didn't think it was anything worth missing an exam over. When the time came to start the exam, just like everybody else, I walked into the hallway, wrote my name on my bit of paper, and started reading through the questions. And it was as I was reading through the questions, I realised I wasn't okay. I was feeling really dizzy. So dizzy that I was really trying to concentrate on staying in my seat and not falling onto the ground. And that's not really good when you're trying to write 3 history essays. You should really be concentrating on the history exam, not trying to stay balanced. So after about 10 minutes or so, I put my hand up and I asked the exam woman if I could just step outside for a minute and try and regain my focus. Once I was outside, I wasn't really feeling any better, so the lady I was with arranged immediately for me to go to the medical room. Once I got to the medical room, somebody put out the word that I'd been too ill to sit the exam and I was now in the medical room. Now, either it was a really big deal or nobody had any work to do this day because at least 6 members of staff came over to see how I was doing and none of them were from the history department. I didn't mind that so many members of staff were coming in to see how I was doing, but what really annoyed me was that they all came and asked the same question. Have you had your breakfast this morning? Apparently, have you had your breakfast this morning is a question that first aiders are trained to ask patients when they're feeling dizzy. I know everybody had the best intentions, but I was starting to feel really paranoid and I was even starting to wonder, had I had my breakfast that morning? But I knew I had. It was just a really strange time for me. It was like I was being interrogated. About an hour and a half after I left the exam, I had a chat with my deputy head teacher. The exam that I was meant to be sitting consisted of 2 papers, and I'd walked out on the first one. So what he'd done was he offered me the option of going back into the exam and sitting the second paper with everybody else at exactly the same time. If everything went well, I'd then be able to go back and do the first paper in the afternoon. There was just one snag with this plan. Everybody in Scotland was meant to be sitting the exam at exactly the same time, so that nobody would be able to cheat or call their friends, compare notes, that sort of thing. So in order for me to be able to sit the first paper again at a different time from everybody else, I was not allowed to talk to any teachers in the school, any pupils, anybody who might be able to give me some help. One of the lovely ladies in the Learning Support Unit was given the task of chaperoning me around the school and making sure that I didn't speak to anybody. I felt like such a diva. I saw some of my friends, but I wasn't allowed to wave in case that meant something about the exam. I saw some teachers and again, I wasn't allowed to say anything. It was just like everywhere I went, nobody was allowed to speak to me. While I was sitting in the medical room, unable to talk to anybody, my classmates had finished the first paper and they'd went up to go and talk to my history teacher. Now, my history teacher hadn't heard anything about me leaving the exam. She hadn't really heard anything about what had happened in the exam at all, and my classmates were only able to tell her the things that they had seen. So they saw me near the beginning of the exam, read through the paper, and then get up and walk out. And they just assumed that I'd quit and went home. So my history teacher was really panicked. She went down to the exam and eventually found out what had happened, but she was still really concerned for me. When I went to hand in my textbooks later that day, she was giving me really funny looks as though I was about to fall over and die. My teacher and I also talked about the appeal process, which is basically what happens when you get your exam results back and they're not what you thought they were. The school can put an appeal in on your behalf to show that you deserve the grades that you thought you were going to get. Luckily I didn't need any of that. I managed to pass the exam without that extra help, and that was really cool. So I have a few pieces of advice for people who might end up in the same situation. My first piece of advice would be, don't panic. You're already feeling bad. It's not worth making yourself feel even worse. And these things happen all the time. Exam boards are used to people being ill. They realise that not every kid in the country can feel amazing on the same day. And they have policies in place and procedures for if something does go wrong. My second piece of advice would be to do the best work you can all year round, just in case your school, your college, your university need to put in an appeal for you. It really helps them if you can do your best work and have some amazing things to show the exam board, to show that you were meant to pass and that the exam wasn't the best day that you've ever had. If there's anything affecting your ability to sit the exam, tell the person in charge of the exam as soon as possible. Because like I say, they've came across every scenario and they can try and help you. Don't try and be strong, don't try and muscle on. If there's anything you're worried about, let them know so they can keep a note of it and do what they need to do. All the best to you, for anybody who's sitting an exam, and for those of you who just found this entertaining or were maybe a bit of curious, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed listening to my suffering. Thanks very much for watching, everybody. Leave your comments down below. If you've ever been in a similar situation or if you're sitting an exam soon, I'd love to wish you luck. Thank you very much, guys. Cheerio.